morning and welcome back to the FitBiz Journey with your hosts Parita Patel and Daniel Neary. On today's episode 7, how to leverage social media for your personal and business brand.
Welcome. So, very excited to have you all. Thank you very much for all the awesome feedback that we have received in the previous episodes. I'm so grateful, and Parita and I, we're both very grateful about it. We got some tips, we got some hiccups, and hopefully we fixed those things, so please let us know this time if we're able to eliminate those little mistakes that we made at the last couple episodes. Hope you're going to enjoy this one because you are in for a treat, right?
Absolutely. So much content to go over. Very, very actionable items today. So we will definitely have a write-up at the end like we normally do with tips and tricks and exactly step-by-step process of what you should do.
And let's start out with the why. When I mean why you should actually leverage social media for your personal and business brand, because it's so important and so many people are not doing it. I mean, if you go through social media on people's accounts, what you see at the very most or at the very best right now, unless they're already doing what you're supposed to do. But most of the time what you see is that they are putting out one piece of content, let's say on YouTube, and they share it everywhere, the same piece of content. Mostly it's Facebook. So they put something on Facebook and they share that to Instagram, they share it to Twitter, Snapchat, whatever, all these places, Pinterest, and it looks the same. But the problem is that each individual platform has its own viewers, listeners, fans, everything. So you cannot just put different pieces. And this episode, we're actually gonna break it down on if you create one main content, let's say a video or a podcast or something big, where you start out with that and how you break it down into small pieces, that one big content can be used so many times for even a month or two on so many different platforms, because that's how Ty Lopez, Gary Vaynerchuk, and all these big number follower people actually doing it. So we're gonna actually give you that, and a Lewis Howes too. And I mean Lewis Howes Mastermind Group, or what do you call it? Inner Circle, I guess. And he actually teaches us also that how to do all these things and how he's doing it, and he actually became really big with that too. So yeah.
I listen to his podcast, especially during the long drives because they're a little bit longer, but he has amazing guests and everything. But to Daniel's point, all these different types of social media, just like we were talking about in the previous episode about how you have to adjust your pitch based on who you're pitching to, the same thing applies because you have a different audience in every single platform, correct?
Yes.
In the fitness industry, for example, one platform is going to be more important than the other. I know Instagram is huge for fitness, but it not necessarily for YouTube, for example. Is that correct?
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
We'll get into more detail.
Yeah, it will be out of the middle. Right now I want to start out with the beginnings. And what I mean by beginnings, I mean back in a time, even when I came here 10 years ago, if you think about it, that the big American dream, at least when I came here from Europe, and everything, was for everyone, and still is nowadays, but it's changing slowly. I mean, it's changing very fast, but most people don't want to admit the change. But back in a time, it was Hollywood, right? Everybody wanted to move to Hollywood, become a waitress. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then to make it to the big screen, right? Yeah. But TV is dying, like it or not. And internet TV is getting bigger and bigger, and social media getting way bigger. YouTube, I mean, there are more YouTube celebrities, and Instagram and social media influencers have way bigger reach than the stars. And in Hollywood. And the only big stars that are actually leveraging social media are like Will Smith and some of the cool ones out there, Ashton Kutcher, for example, but most of them hire people to do it, and most of them don't even want to sign up to Instagram because guess what? They don't want to start from zero, and that's why they are just not leveraging it. And then that's why they don't show the humility. I mean, of course, there are exceptions and they're amazing and everything, but let's just go with, let's say, going out to California back in the time, right? So why you don't want to do that today? Because now you have Hollywood in your pocket, which is your phone, which is very powerful. So like it or not, you have Hollywood with you. You just need to bring it to you, right? So before, it was you arrive to America, let's say you go to Hollywood and then go to auditions, try to find an agent, and then finally, let's say today, you finally get picked. And you make your big break, you have a TV show or something, and you're not going to have a TV show obviously up front, but let's say you're one of that 1% and you're able to get on a TV show, and then you have like a B-roll or something. But here's the thing, so alright, great, now you're on TV, so what you're going to do, you're going to go to social media to promote it and share it, right? But if you're not leveraging it, that you're not going to be able to do that. Not to mention, even if you would share it, that you're on some TV show on channel 27 on a Friday night at 10:45 p.m., I could care less, and I'm probably not gonna watch it either because I don't watch TV. So nowadays it's like the past.
It's TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's TV is not like it's going out of as we speak. Nobody watches commercials, especially, and the millennials don't really watch TV at all. Netflix, yes, that's a different story too.
Yeah.
But you don't go into Netflix just like that either. Anyways.
Yeah, and what Daniel was saying about your phone being the most powerful tool that you have, and that applies for more ways than one, because back in the day, you would have to go out, like the casting calls and everything like that. You'd also have to spend a lot of money on your headshots and getting things edited and making sure, well, it's expensive in general to move out to a place and search for stardom. But now, again, you have your phone, you have all these resources that can cover all that stuff for you. So with great power comes great responsibility, and you should really make most use of that.
Yeah, and you can start in your bedroom, for that matter, with a camera or with your phone. And you can actually make money out of it. I mean, there's so many people who start in their bedroom, and now they're making hundreds of thousands of dollars still in their bedroom. But we're making the how-to videos and tip videos and all that on YouTube, and then leveraging all social media to promote it and get more views and then get sponsorships. Yep. So to get back to Hollywood real quick is that with having an agent who controls what you say, they own your product. So if you're on a TV, that's not yours, that's theirs. You're their employee and they are your employer. So now with your phone, you're your own director, you're your own producer, your own writer, screenwriter, or your own editor. You can of course hire people, which we'll talk about later, and everybody should have eventually a person who follow you if you want to, obviously, like your social media, who creates videos, edit videos, and post it out there and all that. But obviously, you're not going to start there. But yeah, so
you work your way up to that.
Exactly.
In the meantime, you have yourself.
Yes, and you just need your phone. You don't have to buy a fancy camera either.
Right.
Yeah, you can just start with your phone. It's pretty fancy.
It's a pretty quality camera.
Yeah, I was about to say, if you think about it, we have more power in our hands right now than Nixon had when he was leading the new word, the free word back then, available to us, because this phone or computer, you should call it, in your pocket is way more powerful than the president had available to him not too long ago. Yeah. So it's pretty crazy.
Oh, how times have changed.
Yeah, exactly. So, and again too, I want to make sure I don't miss out any on notes, but so many people that put down the questions that they asked, that okay, but why should I do social media? What is the ROI on it? Or the reason why most people ask that, by the way, because they want the answers now, right? But social media is not the short game. Social media is for the long term. And to give you one example, the perfect example, look at Tai Lopez or Gary Vaynerchuk. They are killing it on Snapchat. And the reason why they're killing it on Snapchat, because they're really, really understanding the game and they're really playing for the long term. Because who is on Snapchat mainly? Basically 14-year-olds, right? But you know what's going to happen in 10 years? They will be 24. So they will be the new business leaders, they will be the new adults who have jobs, and who they're going to go to when they need something. They're going to go to Gary Vaynerchuk and Tai Lopez because they grew up watching them. Right. Does that make sense? Yeah. So they're just playing the long term, and they could care less about today, and that's why they give out basically everything for free. And that's what you need to do too. We are getting there in a minute. But the point is, this is for the long term. And then you just have to build up a brand. And not to mention, advertisement is dying off as well. And when I mean advertisement, the actual ads that you see on TV, because be honest, when was the last time you watched a commercial besides Super Bowl?
Or you fast forward through everything.
Exactly.
That's what I do.
Yeah, me too. I don't watch, I could care less. Yeah. But when your personality comes out and you share stories and you genuinely help people, Gary would call it jab, 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 right? And then eventually a right hook, but right now you just need to focus on jabs for a long time. But when you genuinely care and try to help people, they start following you, they start interacting with your brand, and eventually they want to do business with you because they realize that you know what you're doing and you are not trying to sell them on something. And the same with fitness. If you're a personal trainer or gym owner in your studios and you generally just put your clients on there, just like, for example, Midwest Performance, doing an amazing job.
Really showcasing all their clients
and
everybody.
Exactly.
They're making them feel special.
And trainers.
And trainers, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, so I thought you were going.
No, sorry.
They're doing an amazing job on really showcasing their studio, what's happening there, and just putting the personality. So the clients see that and followers see that, and they can personally connect with them. So when they come in, it already feels like for them that they are connected, or this is the place where I want to be. They seem genuine, and it's not about selling them on something.
Exactly, it's something real. You're not just putting something superficial out there. And when you start, you're not going to have like millions of people following you, obviously, but you can't can't let that discourage you, because we've heard people like that all the time, like, oh, nobody's looking at my stuff, nobody's watching any of my videos or the thing I'm putting out there. I mean, Gary Vee, you said it yourself, he had his wine channel that nobody watched in the beginning, but then
for like almost 2 years.
Yeah, he put out how many episodes?
1,000.
1,000 episodes, and nobody was even watching, but that didn't stop him. So, like Daniel said, it's a long-term thing. You got to start somewhere, and then you have to be consistent. Because the minute you fall off, you're going to lose anybody that was even following you into first place. So.
And you never know who is watching or listening. It could be Sanjay Gupta, and you will be on CNN for the next 60-minute interview.
Yeah.
Because you never know who is that 30 people who is actually listening or watching you. That's very important too to know. Your biggest fan could be Tai Lopez, for that matter, for example, or you never know. And then all of a sudden you're just going to get a phone call or an email or show up at your door and say, hey, I'm going to do business with you. Not necessarily like that,
but your big break.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, speaking of big break.
Yeah.
So, perfect example, the dream was back then, especially for businesses, or even now they think, so many business owners, oh, I just need to get in front of the right people. Oh, I just need to get on TV. If I get on TV, like on a doctor's TV show or whatever, I will have my big break. And we did that, by the way. So, like 2 years ago, ago, we were on the Doctor's TV show, which is a huge, I mean, it plays in like 15 countries or 20 countries, and it's a huge TV show, international TV show, and with celebrities and everything, and we actually trained celebrities on it. But the thing is, we trained the personal trainer of Khloe Kardashian.
Yep.
So on the show, you can watch it actually if you want. I will link it in and then see what it does. And it was an amazing segment. It was long. It was at the beginning, middle, and at the end of the show. So we're on the show 3 times for over 3 minutes. I mean, we had like more than that. We had a total of like 12-minute segment for TV. That's huge.
That's huge.
I think it's a 30-minute show. And
with a viewer base as big as what you mentioned across countries, that's huge.
Yeah, so the thing is though, that because at that time we did not leverage social media or blog posts, or we didn't have a podcast, we didn't have so much video, we had like 4 videos on YouTube, we didn't have all these things. So the thing is, we saw, by the way, hundreds of thousands of people going to our websites, because I saw it on the Google Analytics, which you have to use, and I saw all this traffic coming in, searching for us on Google, right? It was awesome. But then it died off in a week because we didn't have anything to entertain them. So that's why you need to leverage social media and have all this stuff, podcasts. So now you look around, listen to our podcast, watch our videos, tip videos, you give out tips and everything. Go to my social media, Facebook, podcast, Snapchat and Instagram and the stories. I personally connect with you. So people actually stick around and they want to know more about you. So what happened is all these people wanted to know more about the brand than us, but it couldn't find anything.
And it's about credibility, because if you're not out there, then people are going to be like, so who are you?
Yeah.
So we're always talking about having to, when you build your brand, you have to be credible. And so when you have random people posting random things every now and then, and there's no base, there's no support in what they're doing and what they're saying, they have no credibility. So all of your different accounts and the proof of what you do is going to be able to show up through social media.
Yeah, and exactly, and think about it. I mean, you can get on TV, and so often we got on TV and then we didn't get much out of it. Yeah. But now that we're leveraging social media way more, when we get on TV, we get a lot out of it. So that's one reason why you really need to leverage social media. Not to mention, back in a time to get on like the Tonight Show or get onto like on a podcast interview or get a TV interview, you either know somebody, you pay them, or good connections or a PR person and all these things, right? Today, they basically go by the amount of following that you have. I got a couple interview requests, or I pitched to some of the shows, because you do have to still pitch. And if you didn't watch the episode, How to Pitch, you need to watch our episode. That was like episode 5, I believe. Yeah. So to how to pitch to the media, because it's very important to do. But for example, was that the entrepreneur show with, oh my God, I forgot her name. She used to be a country singer, and now she has her entrepreneur journey show and it's on like on online TV, and she's featured in Entrepreneur Magazine all the time. I totally forgot, but I reached out to her. She really loved my story. We had a good conversation and everything, and then it come down to at the end that, okay, if you don't have 1 million followers, I'm sorry, but you cannot come to my show. But once you reach 1 million followers, I would love to have you. So See the point? So that's I would have been on this big show in front of all the entrepreneurs and in front of so many people, but I was not able to because I don't have enough followers yet.
Yeah.
So that's one. So now when you have it, and then now let's say when you have a personal brand and you have all the followers, you can start any business, and you can. Ty Lopez is doing this, by the way. So, and Gary Vee too. So he literally, I think his goal, I don't want to say something stupid, but it's something like starting a new company every month, and if it doesn't make $1 million the first month, then he just closes it out. And the way he does it, he puts it out to his like, let's say, a new t-shirt company. And I don't know if you might sing his new t-shirt company, for example, or clothing company. He delivers clothing to you as entrepreneur because his pitch is that you're busy, you don't want to spend hundreds of dollars and time on shopping. We will deliver you each one this box when it has this, or the mentor box, that's also his, when he delivers books for CEOs and all these things.
That's cool.
Yeah, he has so many companies, and he's using social media to leverage them. So he puts it out to social media, hey, sign up here. Every once in a while he does a right hook. Most of the time he does jab, 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 right? And then finally he says, okay, swipe up if you want to learn more. And then most people swipe up because they're genuinely following him. And then when they swipe up, they sign up, and he makes tons of sales. I mean, he has 4.5 million followers or something on Instagram. I mean, even if just 1 million buys his $10 product, he makes shit tons of money.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy,
Yeah, that's crazy.
So imagine how much you can leverage if you have that many followers. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
So to get back to that, think about it. If you ever lose your job, if you quit being a personal trainer or gym owner, or close your business, or move on in life, whatever you do, if you have leveraged social media, your friends come with you. They're not just going to disappear. They cannot wait to find out where you're moving on next, and they just sit around and wait for you basically to show me the next big thing. Mm-hmm. And then you just create your business, and all of a sudden you already have a fan base for the business. It's very important, to leverage it. And we talk about that right now with, how do you say her name? Kylie Jenner? Kylie Jenner, yes. I'm just good with names.
Nailed it, of course.
Okay, good.
And Daniel mentioned, building your personal brand. Like, from all the episodes we've discussed so far, you know your why, you have your pitch, you know what you stand for, and you have a reason that you want to even reach people. So you have all the tools and everything that you need. Now it's just about turning it into action. So that's what we're trying to talk about here, just to reel us back in.
Yes.
Yes.
So to give you the idea, and very soon we go into the action plan, what you need to do,
right.
I just really want to point out that how important this is to you. And the perfect example, so is Kylie Jenner, and I have the statistics here, so I'm not just pulling it out of my head or randomly come up with numbers.
Yeah.
So Kylie Jenner, at age 20, she went from $0 as starting a company, her what is it, lipstick brand?
The lipstick
yes.
brand, yeah.
So her brand, she put it on her social media, right? Organic advertisement, so it wasn't paid advertisement either. At least that's what it says. So she went from $0, listen to this, $0, again, $0, no sales, no nothing, right? To 430 million in revenue.
Oh my God.
In 18 months as her first company. And that's it. No investors. No valuation, just her putting out the makeup line and the power of social media. So because she created a fan, and that's what I mean. It will take time, but imagine this. If you put in the work every single day, and we'll tell you what that work is soon, but if you put in that work every single day for the next 10 years, in 10 years, if you have millions of followers, imagine if you come up with something great. Because obviously the brand that she created is very relating to her and people who follow her. That's why she created it.
Yeah, and obviously she is a celebrity, so we obviously understand that. She's already going to have a follower base. There's the TV show, all these other things. So
yeah, but that's why because she leveraged it.
Right, because she leveraged it, right. So all of that could have existed. She could have just been one person that was there, but she went above and beyond to build her follower base.
Yeah, that she was leveraging all social media because there are so many other celebrities that are not even on Instagram.
Correct.
Or they are on Instagram, and for example, some of the guys that I looked up from what was it, the Wolverine movie? Wolverine? Yeah, this movie. So some of the guys, for example, in that movie, who the bad guy, I forgot what's his name, but he's a pretty big actor. He's also in Narcos, the cop who was in there.
Murphy.
Yeah, he has 10,000 followers, at least when I checked. Now I think he probably has 100,000, but the point is, he didn't really post, he didn't have anything. So if he would have started a brand and put it on his social media, nothing would have happened compared to what Kylie Jenner accomplished, because she really leveraged social media. And there are so many actors and actresses there that just have a couple thousand followers or 100,000, but they don't do anything. And even if they would post, let's say, that this is my new brand, check it out, nothing would have happened. Kylie Jenner, on the other hand, built up her social media and personally connected with their people. So, and of course she has a TV show and everything, but the reason why she has all those things, because they also leverage social media, and everybody come to them because they have all those things going on for them. I mean, Kim Kardashian, for that matter, wouldn't exist if there was no social media. She was a nobody, and then now she's one of the biggest celebrities that everybody knows. You know, Big thanks to social media. Now, anyways, so let's continue on this because this is very interesting. So again, 430 million, right, in 18 months. And there was not a single company that did that, by the way, before. So she's the first one who accomplished that in 18 months to get 430 million in sales organically without doing anything. So, I mean, name a company who actually went from 0 to 430 million in actual sales with consumers putting in their credit cards online, not valued at 430 million like, you know, Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter or whatever, because that's a different story, and having investors. She actually had 430 million in sales. She beat L'Oreal, is that how you say it?
L'Oreal. Yeah.
L'Oreal did that in 30 years. She did this in 18 months. Do you see the power of social media? This is how amazing it is. I mean, if L'Oreal would have had social media back then, they would have been able to accomplish probably the same if they leveraged it just like she leveraged it. But the thing is that she did that even today, and leave the brand behind because of social media.
Yeah.
That should show you enough that why you should get on social media right now.
Proof.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get into more action plans now, because we don't want you to. We understand how, you know, busy you are, but this is, I mean, a must listen and must do. So let's go into it. So write down these books, first of all, that you need to read.
Right.
So the must-read books for social media that I put down that you should start with is obviously Gary Vaynerchuk's Jab, 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 Right Hook. Then Crush It and Crushing It, also by Gary Vaynerchuk.
2 separate books.
Yes, and then Vlog Like a Boss. And if I might put in the book just for fun as a picture, because with me on it, because when I read it on an airplane ride, everybody was giving me the looks that I'm reading that book, because it's a girly book with girly colors and everything, and it's a chick. It's Amy Smith, I believe her name, and to say, who is, by the way, read the books that I just mentioned above and followed everything in that book and leveraged it, and became basically the to-go guy for Gary Vaynerchuk. I mean, Gary Vaynerchuk wrote recommends that book and promotes that book, the Vlog Like a Boss, and she tells how she met with Gary Vaynerchuk and how he changed his life and followed everything in the book. So anyways, it's a really awesome book, and yeah, it's just because it's a chick book, or not, it's not a chick book, it just looks like one.
Yeah.
But you definitely need to pick it up and read it, because I have learned a lot from it, and it will give you an actual action plan on how to create videos on YouTube, and on how to cut it into bits and pieces and put it into all your social media, because that's what she's doing also. Okay?
Awesome.
So you have those books, and then if you are completely new to Instagram, for example, then you should also get the book called The Ultimate Guide to Instagram for Businesses. But keep it in mind, by the time you might read this or listen to this, social media and Instagram might have changed so much, but it would be irrelevant, you know, to use it. But I mean, you will always find at least 1 or 2 ideas that you should probably use, or at least see how it was before and now how it's changing, which we'll talk about in a minute as well. But let's start with hashtags real quick and Instagram. So just because it's getting the biggest platforms right now, and that's where everybody's moving to. So Instagram, I highly recommend that you go to all hashtags. So it's all-hashtags.com, and then whatever is relevant to your business, you go there and type in the keyword fitness, health, fat loss, electrical muscle stimulation, whatever that is, type in that keyword, and then you can select it random hashtags or top trending hashtags. And that will allow you to get the 30 hashtags that you can actually comment on each individual picture or video that you post on Instagram. And those will be the top ones. And that's one. So once you have done that, what you need to do is actually, so your top hashtags that you have posted, you need to click on the top 5 trending one at least, and then do 5 comments on 5 different posts of the 5 different hashtags. Does that make sense? So there's 25 comments, at least at the very minimum, a day. Because what that allows you to do, you have a voice in the, what do you call it? You have a voice in the neighborhood, or what do you call it? Yeah, like in the community. There we go. That's what I was looking for. So you have a voice in the community because you're commenting on the trending hashtags that people are posting about. So, but don't just put like a flexing or smiling face or whatever. Yeah. Actually give value. And when you give value, people will comment back, and they come to your social media and start following you. And then they start commenting back to you too as well. And you might even start businesses together, or just become a client, for example, which happened to me all the time. And just to give you an example, since I have been started doing just this much that I already just told you, which was in the past 30 seconds, about all hashtags and how to leverage hashtags, just those things, since I've been started doing it, I went from January 600 followers to today 12,000 followers, all organic. And so that's...
And they're real people.
Yes.
That's one thing we mentioned in a previous episode. They're real people, because you want to be interactive in your social media. You don't just want to have like random likes or something like that, or people follow you and then unfollow you just to get a follower base. The commenting he's referring to should also be interactive. You can even ask questions, because that's something that I started doing, asking a question or asking, you know, for a response on something that they mentioned or clarification, and then those people want to talk to you.
Yes. And speaking of responding, so when they actually message you, you should write back no matter what. I mean, I understand when you have over 10,000 followers, I get like 50 messages a day now, but I try to reply back to all of them. Of course, it's something stupid or they try to sell me on something, I usually ignore it. Or just like put a heart on it, but at least I responded back, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, thank you for obviously messaging me. I really appreciate it, and I will always respond back. It's just a matter of time. So, and that's what you should need to do that too. But that's one, right? And then not just that, but you really need to like actually care about your followers.
Yes.
So I use the concept which I just mentioned. I don't know if you start using it yet, but it's basically the who, what, and why. So when you post the stories, on Instagram or Snapchat, you have to use who, what, why. And write it down, because it's actually very important. And since I started doing that, my engagement, when I was reaching like 500 people with my stories, for example, now I'm reaching at minimum between 2,000 to 5,000. So that's huge, just because I changed that. And not to mention add hashtags, by the way, into your stories as well, because that shows, and locations. Locations are very important, because if you even tag your own location as a studio, what happens is that sometimes it gets picked up by the city where you are, and it will be trending in the city area. So the top stories at the city will be you as featured, and millions of people will see that. So you will get so many people coming to your business. They're like, oh, this is cool. What is this gym, or what is this person, what is this business all about? I'm gonna go check them out now.
Yeah, you're gonna get local influencers coming in and seeing what you're all about, especially if it's people who are excited about what you're offering. Because we had that happen at our Tampa studio, where we had a few local people come in, and they're influential, and they came in and experienced what we offered. So that's just another way, just through the city.
Yes, and speaking of influencers, when you go to the top trending hashtags, because influencers will be the top trending hashtags locally, so you open up Instagram, and then you go into the search hashtags basically, and then when you just type in the city, for example, like Tampa Bay in our case, and then all the top stories will pop up. So find out what is related to your business and the top trending ones, and comment on it, and then follow that person who is top trending if you want to connect with that person, like some of their stuff, comment on it, give value, and then message them. And then that message, write down why you would like to connect with them, keep it as short as possible, and then put in a picture or video that also explains some stuff, or send a video, because you will have a higher chance that they respond. And I would say sometimes 1 out of 10 maybe respond, but lots of times when you're generally doing this, I had like 10 out of 8 respond to me. And I remember that Gary was saying that well, it depends also how big they are. If they don't have like 10 to 50,000 followers, they'll respond back ASAP, lots of them. But when you're reaching to like the millions, or reaching to people like Gary Vee, I mean, you will have like almost like no chance. Yeah. But the point is that you need to just go one higher. Don't skip the steps. Reach to 10,000 people, reach to 40, and just go on the steps, get in the influencers. And then when that influencer comes in for a podcast, which will have actually one of the founders for Pure Bar coming in soon to our podcast, for example, when you reach out to that person and comes into your studio, and you feature them or have them on a podcast, then all of a sudden you have their friends watching you as well. This is what also Ty Lopez is doing when he has like influencers come onto his podcast or show. What he's doing is he posts those episodes on social media, for example Facebook, not the YouTube link, that doesn't work, we'll talk about it in a minute. So they actually upload the video there. It's a different platform. Facebook does not like YouTube, just to let you know. We'll talk about it in a minute. So what he is doing, let's say if he had Grant Cardone on his episode, then he is not advertising it to his own fans, he is going to advertise it to Grant Cardone fans. So now Grant Cardone's fans are start watching and listening to that podcast and getting his stuff now. Does that make sense? And that's what everybody's doing. So when you have an influencer, you must advertise to their audience.
Follower basis.
Yeah, exactly. And then because you already have your own, you don't want to advertise to that. I mean, of course you are, but you need to advertise to their audience, and you need to make sure each episode, podcast, whatever you guys are doing, you make it look like it's all about them, because it is. But what I mean is, we need to reflect their values, their things, because it will be that much more comfortable to the fans that are already following them.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, anything that you want to say real quick, Breda?
Nothing in addition to what you're saying at the moment.
Okay, cool. So, good content. So you constantly need to learn and constantly need to adjust things, and you need to treat social media as a business. So, for example, we see that Instagram, and we're very close. I'm about to go to how to actually do these things, so just stay with us for a minute. But you need to track stuff, and I'm going to share this with you, how to track and what to track, so you're going to be able to see it if you go to our website or the link that I will post below. But you need to add in, for example, that the number of weekly, and if not daily, the more tracking you have, just like in business, the better it is. I mean, we even track toilet paper. But the point is, you need to really track this. So the number of followers that is changing, the percent of growth day over day, so day over day, the number of likes for each comment, each picture, each everything, the number of followers you have, the number of comments, the number of posts you did, the number of profile visits that you had, the number of website clicks you had, the number of leads you had, the number of impressions, how much reach you had, and what is your follower base, man versus woman, and then what is declining, is it going up, is it going down, adjust. And by the way, you might be asking, but how do I see all these things? Well, if you have a personal Instagram, you must change it to business right away, because the business one has all these tools where you can actually see it.
And I want to say one thing, do not have separate accounts for different things. Like, if you have your Instagram, you don't need to have a separate personal one. You don't need to have a separate business one, because the whole point is you're being an influencer, right? You're building your personal brand, which ties into your business brand. And people want to know the real you. They want to know your life. They don't necessarily want to know just about business-related things, because that's not just who you are. You're obviously a person too, and you do really fun things. You do regular things that everyday people do, and so they can connect better with you and relate better to you if they know who you are as a person as well, not just a business.
Yes.
Yes.
And what she means, I mean, don't confuse the one thing that you do have to have. Your business has its own brand page, so your business does need to have, like a gym, for example, need to have their own social media and everything. But as your personal brand and your business, I mean, your own account, you have your own. You don't have a separate personal account or whatever.
Yes.
But yeah, because when you sell the business, for example, or if you have investors coming in, or somehow the business has to connect also with their audience. So by giving them their own social media platforms, just like when a podcast has its own podcast, all these things and everything, because it's a separate, basically, lifeline. So yes, your personal everything has to be connected, and on your own personal page, which is technically your business page, it's reflecting to the business, but the business is also separate brand, just like Apple. Like, it has its own separate everything, and Tim Cook also has his own separate thing, for example. Or same with, Tesla and SpaceX. There is SpaceX, there is Tesla, and there is Elon Musk. But on Elon Musk's page, everything is connecting into as one business.
All of it, yeah.
All of it together. But
he's not just posting selfies all day, obviously,
yeah, exactly.
because the business is a part of his life. So that's the exact point we're trying to make. Yes, you have your personal brand, but the business is a part of your life. So you want to include both.
Yes, and then and make sure that the business is very personal to the clients. So it's not just the business page. I mean, so don't just put out stuff and constantly selling. That's what everybody's doing. You need to actually personally connecting on a personal level in your business as well, not just on your personal business page. That's clear, right?
Yes. Sounds good.
Okay. So on Facebook for tracking, you also need to write down action on page, page views, page likes, reach, engagement, videos, page followers, number of posts, photos, videos, live videos, blog posts, whichever was the best, and comments made. And every single comment needs to be responded back to. So don't just leave it there empty. And then now we are getting to how to break it down. So one thing though, if you don't have content, because so many people ask about if I need to post every day, or how many times do I need to post. So when you have no content, you cannot go wrong. You can literally post multiple times a day because you need to have content. Because if you don't have a content, then people start following you, and then they're just going to see that you don't have anything, so they're just going to leave.
Yeah.
So at the beginning, just go all out. But the best is if you come up with an actual schedule. You know, let's say you post Monday tips, Tuesday whatever workout tips or something. Wednesday, Wisdom Wednesday, you post something for them in business or in what to eat, what not to eat. Thursday, Throwback Thursday, whatever. Like break down the post on each individual platform. I know it's lots of work, but it's very important.
Well, obviously, you got to put the work in if you're trying to reap the benefits of what this is going to do. So understand that this is going to take time, effort, energy, organization above all else, consistency. All those things are really big part of this.
Yes. Yeah. And that's why I have a schedule on my personal page / business. I mean, at Daniel Z. Neary, right? That's Daniel Z. Neary. Yes, that's my Instagram. Mm-hmm. I have my own schedule on Instagram, and then I have my separate schedule for the For You Fitness page on Instagram as well. And it's two different things what we are posting, completely different. But it's but I mean, I have both on both. Does it make sense? Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you're leveraging them both.
Yeah. So. Because on my personal, it's mainly for you guys, right? And business owners, gym owners, personal trainers, and some fitness, how to stay fit and all kind of stuff. But it's not really for our clients. On the For Your Fitness, it's all about our clients and all about health and fitness, no business.
Right.
Yeah.
But obviously, Daniel being an entrepreneur, that plays a lot bigger role into his general personal page.
And then, yes. And then don't just create a video or blog, by the way, and dump it on social media. So now we're getting to the how-to. So let's say if you're on YouTube, you can have the full content, because on YouTube, people who go to YouTube, let's start with that. So people who have lots of time and they want to watch something long, like almost like Netflix, they will go to YouTube. Mm-hmm. So YouTube, they will consume most of the content that you have. But keep that in mind, in the first 4 to 8 seconds, they will decide if they're going to watch that video. So it's very important that the first 4 to 8 seconds is the most crucial part of the video, because if it's not, they're just going to skip it or not going to watch it, and they're going to go somewhere else. You're going to lose their attention. And then every once in a while you can lose them, so throw out some stuff, because today we are so distracted. I mean, people just were crazy distracted. So then from YouTube you go to Facebook, and Facebook is actually, and YouTube, when you post a video, you need to create a thumbnail that is like very invitational and has like a title on it, so it catches their eye. And then when you go to Facebook, you cannot share the link from YouTube, because Facebook hates that and it looks like crap. To begin with. So you have to upload the same video you can to Facebook, because Facebook is getting old as far as who is the consumer on it, and they also like to spend lots of times on it. So they will actually read and watch your stuff on Facebook, because they also spend lots of time on it. So then you can also put your full video as well, but it's also okay and also people actually recommend it, that if you put shorter bits and pieces of it, and just link it to your YouTube channel. But the point is that Facebook, you can also put out the content. And then, but in Facebook, there's an autoplay feature. So when you scroll in the newsfeed, but young people scroll like this and old people scroll like this. So Facebook, you will go to like an older audience. Just keep that in mind. So the first 4 to 8 seconds is so crucial here, because it will autoplay, and if it's not catching their attention, they're just going to go skip to it. So they're not even going to play the video, they're just going to swipe down more and more and more, and that's it. Okay? So that's Facebook. Oh, and not to mention, you have to stand out. I mean, you have to be like a purple cow of what you are posting on social media, especially in the fitness industry, because there's so much junk, loose fat, workout like this, CrossFit that, CrossFit this, blah, 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 blah. So all those things need to be like, you need to look like a purple cow. In our case, we look like space ninjas who are getting electrocuted on this NASA spacesuits. So people are going to like, what the hell is that? So that's basically a purple cow, because, the reason I'm saying purple cow, because when you drive in the country and you see cows, I mean, when was the last time when you stopped and take a picture of them? I mean, you see them all the time, right? But if there was one big purple cow, you would stop and take a picture, right? Yeah. So that's what I mean.
It stands for something.
Yeah, exactly. So from Facebook, let's go to Twitter. So Twitter definitely can post the whole video. So that's when you put like bits and pieces of it. And think about this. So your main outline, let's say, is YouTube as a vlog, and then everything else connects back to that and to Facebook. And then all these other pieces like Twitter and even Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat and all these are basically to collect the people as a funnel and push them to see your real content and eventually to your website, make a sale if you want, and that kind of stuff. But so Twitter is a great And what Twitter is like dying off, but it won't. I mean, hopefully they figure it out. But the point is that still so many people use it. But be aware who is your audience. So in business, lots of business people use Twitter. So we post to Twitter and we tag business people. We use hashtags. You can leverage it and comment on it and all that. But if you look at even Gary Vee, who has like millions of followers on Twitter, maybe 100 people will comment on his Twitter post while 100,000 comment on his Instagram post. And so you can see that the audience is different.
Right.
So make sure you use small quotes, pictures, and obviously just short stuff that will feed into your big stuff on Twitter. And then from Twitter, also we go to Pinterest. So Pinterest is actually amazing for women around between the age of 40 to all the way to 60. So they spend tons of time on it, and it's really good to the fitness studio. And you need to leverage it and put motivational stuff. You put your food, recipes, cooking.
That's the biggest stuff on there.
Out your gear, your workouts and results and all that kind of stuff. So,
it's all about the visual rather than content that's like actionable. It's definitely more so what's appealing to the eye. And I mean, recipes is something I use it for all the time.
And then lastly, let's go to Instagram. And Instagram is the king now, so that's why we talked a lot about it, because you really need to treat it right. So, again, you're speaking to different people, and on Instagram, when you go on, you obviously have to have different videos. It's maximum 60 seconds on the video side of it, and then for the stories it's 10 seconds. So use the who, what, why. It's very important, and then use the hashtags, leverage the hashtags. And just really kill it on Instagram. And then let's go on to the ads real quick. Lastly, I really wanted to point it out because I really want you to think about this for a minute. So think about it that right now, ads on Instagram and Facebook, and for any social media platform for that matter, is crazy cheap. Back in a time when Gary Vee, for example, started with his wine club, he bought like keywords for like wine club, wine, and anything for like 15 cents, something like that. He owned those keywords. So anybody search for it on Google AdWords, he would come up. Now that would cost him a minimum of like $15 to $50 just because how much the marketplace changed. And that's why I want to head to Facebook and Instagram and all these ads, because right now it's so cheap. Because the big companies like Aldi, BMW, Mercedes, beer, wine, whatever, all these companies are not leveraging yet. They're still on TV, spending on Super Bowl ads and all that. But when all these companies finally wake up and realize that social media is the next big thing for advertisement, and they're going to start pouring into, and I know lots of people like saying, oh no, it's okay, or whatever, or they don't believe in the ads, you're going to miss out big time. I mean, when I started social media advertisement for a company, and that's where we get all of our ads, which is 200 per studio basically, per month, which is huge, all from social media.
Yep.
When I first started that like about 4 or 5 years ago, I paid like $1 for like, I don't even know, it was like 10,000 reach. Now I pay, what is it, like $15 for 1,000 reach. So you already see how much it's changing, but it's still crazy cheap. So to get to this example, think about this, the news feed. Let's go with Facebook, or for Instagram for that matter. It's a news feed, but they are the same. So there's this feed, right? It's a marketplace. That's what it is. So what happens is when all these ads are, people start coming in to advertise, and they advertise at the same area as where you are, and then when they paying for the same ads or same targeting and everything, then show up to the same people, right? But only X amount of ads can show up, just like X amount of ads can be played between Super Bowl. So the newsfeed can only take so much to the same amount of people, right? So now you're going to start to create a competition. So now Facebook, it's a marketplace. Again, keep it in mind, just like stock markets, it will go up and down, right? So as more people start pouring into the same exact newsfeed, there is no other choice but to go up of the price. So now your reach is crazy cheap. Like I said, spend like $2 to $4 on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram for video advertisement, and then you will get like 1,000 people watch your video. So and that's gonna go away. So you're gonna miss out. In 10 years, it's gonna be crazy. Or even in a year, it's gonna be so much more expensive. So this is your time that you really have to get on it and leverage the Facebook, Instagram, and all these ads. That's what's gonna happen next. That's where we're going. So you really need to leverage the ads now.
And you have to leverage them purposefully and with content that is actually engaging. Because the minute you don't have engagement occurring on your ads, they're not going to show up and the competition's going to overrule.
Yes.
Right.
And it's not really ads either. So I mean, the ads, yes, we're using ads, but you need to use, like, when I mean ads, like sponsored stories, videos, and you're not selling in an ad, like buy these shoes or whatever.
Right.
It's your content, what I mean. So leveraging your content, and from that social media ad, you send them to like a call to action website, or use clickfunnels.com or Infusionsoft, but I prefer ClickFunnels. But use them, create online webinars, create all these things, feed them in, and I mean, you don't want to sell on social media. You can, and so many people do that, but it's getting overpopulated. You want to give value, they follow you, build up your following, and eventually you sell to them. And you're gonna make way more later. If you play the long-term game, you're gonna make way more money. You're gonna be influential. You're gonna become a key person of influence, which is our previous episode. So please check it out. It's very important. So you don't need to leverage this. You don't need to do this. And lastly, always start with at the beginning, start with the end in mind. So the number one question is, what do you want to accomplish? What do you want to be in 10 years? Because social media, I believe, will play a huge role in it. So you have to think about it now and come up with an actionable schedule for each day, each week, each month, each year, each quarter, each everything, because you need to do that action plan every single day, and you will see that you will actually get from where you are today to where you want to be, but only if you know what is at the end for you, right?
And I'm going to be using myself as an experiment, because as of right now, the last time I checked, it was Instagram 605 followers. I have a personal page that I'm building on Facebook, have a personal website that I'm building, utilizing resources such as Fiverr.com. Since I have no graphic design ability whatsoever, there's a lot of resources out there.
Which we'll talk about in the next episode.
Which we will talk about in a future episode, because there's a lot on Fiverr.com. But in the meantime, for this purpose, I'll be using it to help build the visual that I can't do on my own. But in a future episode, we'll see, because I'm going to follow all these things that we've said and all these action steps we've laid out, and hopefully in, I don't know, 10, 15 episodes, this is ultimate accountability, guys. We'll see my follower base and more expand.
Yes, and take a look at mine as well, because right now I've been growing about 100 new followers a day. So
awesome.
It didn't happen like that before. Before I reached 10,000, it was like maybe 10, 20, 50, and it went up. So as you get bigger and more followers, it also will, almost like a flywheel. Think of it as a flywheel. You keep doing it the same over and over, keep pushing on it. Eventually it will take over and just go by itself. So that's the same thing here, okay? Just to let you know. So we just want to appreciate you. I know it was long and everything, sorry about that, but it's lots of information, and believe it or not, we still didn't fit this into the whole episode. No. So we're probably gonna do another episode, and we're gonna interview like an influencer as well about it, because it's just so big, so much stuff on there. Yeah. But we just want to really appreciate you listening. It means watching and listening. It depends where you're watching this or listening to it, and we just really want to thank you to take your time. And then please, it would mean the world to us if you could subscribe to our channel or rate it, and give us some feedback, because we just want to help you, and that's our whole plan here.
100%. Just like I'm experimenting on my own, if you end up trying it and you see that success, we'd love to hear that kind of feedback and see how it helped you grow and more. And we'll have everything written up like I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, so definitely check out the notes. Subscribe, like, give us feedback, comment, the works. And we're so excited for you guys to be listening, and that's, yeah.
Thank you very much. So please don't forget to rate and subscribe. Thank you.
Okay, bye.